This is Smithy.tv.
All right, you're watching and listening to 5 Questions with Jeremy. I'm sitting here with Jonas Chernick. Did I say it right?
You did.
Look at me. That's an easier one.
Many people say Chernick. Like
Chernick?
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. And then I get a lot of Jonah, Jason, Josh. Very few Jonas Chernicks the way you just said it.
I said it perfectly.
Yeah, I noticed you looked right at the...
You don't have to. I just
Should
do
I
it
do
at the
that
beginning.
too?
And then
You just did the
awkward and creepy. Yeah, do that for the whole time. That won't be weird at all. You're making love? Jonas is making love with the camera.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned to do.
Just take it down. No, we can just. I just do it at the beginning.
Okay, so I want
that they don't feel isolated and weird.
That's nice. You'd like bring them in.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Welcome them in. I watched Letterman once or twice.
Mm-hmm, I've seen him.
I
know his work.
You've heard of Mr. Letterman?
I know his work.
So you don't know. You don't know what the jar is all about.
I saw something on one of the cartooning things that you did where it was something about pick a question out of the jar or something, or pick 5
So
questions.
the questions in the jar are mostly about like social issues. So it's
Oh.
like it could be like abortion or AIDS.
Oh my God.
And I pick who gets to argue for it and who gets to argue against it.
Oh, and we have like a debate?
It's not that at all.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be the worst?
I was getting nervous because I'm not really up on like current social issues.
Abortion, you're against it. No, you're for it. So you have to.
And I would have to say, like, that's like high school. I could do that. I could totally do that.
But then what I do is I remove the part where I tell you that I'm forcing you to argue for it. And then I just put it out to the world that you are.
Then it just sounds like I have a strong opinion about abortion. Okay.
Wouldn't that be the worst thing?
That would be terrible. You would not be beloved or trusted by other people.
Unless I just did like 100 of these and didn't release them until after.
You could do that.
And then at least. That's how you get.
At least you'd have a bunch of them. Yeah, that would be a big deal.
It's too late now. We don't do that.
You blew it though. Because you just said it.
I thought it'd be fun. I thought you'd get a fun reaction out of that. No, so essentially we'll just jibber jabber. But then you just at one point I guess you're gonna start drawing questions out.
Okay, yeah.
And you pass them to me. Are
they the same questions that you sort of reuse, or do you come up with new questions?
There's like a bunch of questions in there. I reuse them.
You do reuse. So I might get a question that somebody else has already.
You might get a question someone else has already.
Okay, I can handle that.
We can handle that.
Yeah.
So you've been busy.
I've been busy.
You said you're at the busiest point in your life.
I've never been busier in my entire life in every possible way.
And you have because we met in January.
Yeah.
At Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
we had to go all the way to Santa Barbara to meet.
I know. I was expecting at the time. My wife was. I wasn't expecting. No. I don't have babies. But my wife was expecting, and we had our second kid in April, so we've got an 11-week-old baby now.
So she was quite far. How did she feel about you going away?
How
is that?
Okay, that was problematic. The Santa Barbara thing was difficult, but it was almost a reward. My wife was so ill for the first 4 months of her pregnancy. I mean, like, so ill.
My wife didn't really.
Don't let my wife hear that.
Yeah, she didn't like the smell of barbecue. We couldn't barbecue. That's about as bad as it got. Well, this is the male point of view. I'm sure she had stuff that she didn't.
Yeah, there was other things,
like
weird stuff coming out of her vagina, probably. Oh, can I say vagina in your show?
You just did. But you're talking about my wife's vagina, which is.
I'm sorry.
It's too late now.
I don't want to talk about your wife's vagina. Anyway, my wife was so sick for the first 4 months that I was full. What is that sound? This is the table. That I was so. I basically she was bedridden, and so there was for 4 months.
For the first 4 months. Just because she was
throwing up constantly, Jesus. And when she wasn't throwing up, she was crying.
Were you having the poltergeist? Was it a?
Yeah, it was really, really terrible, and she was in so much pain and discomfort. So I was full
watching the kid.
Well, I was with the kid, so I was full on with the kid and the house and whatever responsibility. But I knew that there was the film festival in Santa Barbara coming up. So I didn't feel as guilty leaving.
Because you knew you were going to be ditching.
I still felt pretty bad about it though. She was, at the point she was like 6 months or 7 months pregnant, but it was fine. We made it through, and it was nice to see you there.
Yeah,
that was fun. Your movie did so well there.
Yeah, you didn't come and see it because you were too busy watching Daniel Day-Lewis.
I had to choose between your movie and Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's okay. Here's the thing: you can see my movie at any point.
Yeah, well,
watching
Daniel Day-Lewis is a once in a lifetime thing. Yeah, no, seriously, you got to understand. As a thespian,
I didn't take any offense to it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I did go see your movie though.
I know you did. That was really nice. Thanks. Can I just say, though, in my own defense, that I am a Canadian film aficionado. I see.
You have to be.
When I go to no, but I mean, I really am. Like, I'm a geek. Like, when I get a TIFF pass, and all I see is Canadian. My goal is to see as many Canadian. I'll see 5 a day if I can, if scheduling works out. Okay, I've seen more Canadian films, I think, than anyone who's in the industry who doesn't work in journalism. or film criticism. I really do. I see it like, I'd say 30 to 40 a year when they come on. Netflix or Rogers. I see the ones that I missed in theaters. I really am a huge supporter of the industry, to the point that my friends think I'm weird, because a lot of these movies are not great. But I watch them anyway because I feel like, as part of an industry and a community, I want to know what's out there. I want to know the work.
Well, you want to support. There's that. I'm the same way. Maybe,
okay, good.
I don't know.
Are you really?
I am, because here's the thing. It's like when I do the.
Should we want to start throwing titles around? We'll see.
Oh fuck! You'll probably win. Okay,
fine.
But
not that it's a competition.
We could try.
It's not a competition.
But it's like I didn't do TIFF last year because we were cutting Sex After Kids
right.
and getting it ready. But it's like when I get my pass, the same thing. I try to. I mean, unfortunately, it's easier to get into Canadian films too.
Well, that's true.
So there's that. But it's like, I don't get excited by the studio movies that are coming out 2 weeks after the festival.
Yeah, you're
gonna see them anyway. It's gonna be easy to get to see those movies.
Although it's fun to see some of those.
Sure,
at TIFF too.
yeah.
Like I saw Argo at TIFF last year.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Well, you do that too, but it's like, but I try to see the movies that I know are gonna be hard to see after.
Yeah.
Especially Canadian ones. But especially indies that are just like, it's just who knows if they're gonna get picked up, or if they do, what the release is going to be like. And you have this magical pass that lets you see 5 movies a day.
Yeah. You can see more. I've worked in 6 on occasion. But so this is why I'm saying I don't feel guilty like, oh, I didn't support your movie, because I will support it when it comes. But I really wish I had seen it, because as I was saying to you before we started taping, I've heard so much about it even before Santa Barbara. I felt that you promoted the film so well, and we both had sex comedies.
Yeah.
Yay! At the same time, with and you had a great cast.
I'm piggybacking on you, dude. It's like you
ride my coattails, man. Please feel free to ride them. Ride me, just ride me.
I was ridiculously flattered when you had said that you knew who I was when we were at Santa Barbara.
What?
It kind of blew my mind a little bit.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at us just waxing each other's cars.
I know, it's cute. Anyway,
but that's what it is. It's like you never know, so you throw your stuff out there. But
yeah.
It's like, because you are so involved and you try to pay attention to other people's stuff. I mean, and that's why I try to, because it's like, even for me, it's just getting to know other actors that are in the country or other technicians or whatever it is.
And you're also you're like me, you're a hyphenate, right? You're an editor for hire, but also you write your own stuff, you direct, produce as well, or have you not sort of
I produce Sex After Kids.
So you're also looking for other gigs, right? You're also trying to connect and network, because you want to edit this guy's movie and this guy, and you want to work on. So it's also a matter of just wanting to be familiar with other people's work. And I teach at Toronto Film School. I've been teaching screenwriting, or when I go and talk to actors for actor workshops and stuff. That's my big thing. I say, if you want to work in this industry, you have to know the industry. Like, it's amazing how many people, our colleagues, have no idea or don't watch Canadian television at all, and couldn't name 5 Canadian directors or 5 films. It's just, if we're not watching it, we complain. No one watches Canadian movies. No one goes, well, if we're not watching Canadian movies, how can we possibly expect
especially if you work in this industry.
That's what I mean.
Shame on you.
If we're not watching them, then why would the general public watch?
That's just it, right? For me, that was part of the impetus of just doing this podcast.
Oh, yes.
Being able, because especially as how often do you get to hang out with other people that are behind the camera as well, too, right? It's like you're working with other actors. But it's like, for me, to hang out with another writer or hang out with another director or whatever. It's
and talk shop.
Yeah, you usually don't.
No, you don't.
Get a chance.
No, it's great. Well, I'm happy to be here.
But you also got. There's also. I just think it's super important just to try to cross promote any way you can as well, right? Like, the internet's a giant rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're into this one filmmaker, because also it's like how many movies are we getting done every year, every 2 years, every 5 years? So it's like, you want to be able to say, it's like, someone sees my movie and it's like, well, I love that sex comedy. It's like, what other great Canadian sex comedies out there?
You gotta name them.
I can point to you. I can point to
young
people fly fishing. Or Meatballs.
Remember
Meatballs?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Porky's?
Yeah, Porky's for sure. I don't think of Meatballs as a Canadian film, but I guess was it technically a Canadian film?
It was shot here. It was financed by Canadian money.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Bill Murray. Meatballs.
Well, yeah, I know. It's Ivan Reitman, right? Yeah, no, that's great. There's few and far between, though, Canadian sex comedies.
But it's nice to be able to point people, because you're going to help build an audience stronger that way.
Yeah.
As opposed to everyone working off in their own little corner.
No, I totally agree. All this comes back to me saying that I haven't seen your movie.
Yeah, that's how we got to that.
Yeah, that's how we got to that point.
It's okay, you'll see it.
Oh, I will for sure.
But yeah, so we're just still waiting for we're finishing our festival year.
Yep. Okay. So where else did you guys? We talk about this. Where else did you play after? Do you want to talk?
We haven't played anywhere since Santa Barbara.
You're holding off. You're being strategic.
Yeah, and then we're waiting. Who knows? By the time this airs, maybe we'll know. But we're waiting on TIFF and then some other. Yeah. We've been invited to, but we won't talk about it here just yet because they like to do their announcements.
Somewhere after or before?
Somewhere after TIFF.
Okay, good. That's great.
But
you want to know a little tip that I learned? If you have even the smallest amount of Jewish content in your movie, you can. No, I'm not kidding about this. You can get on the Jewish Film Festival circuit, and you would make a lot of money in screening fees. These festivals, there's Jewish film festivals all across the world, but North America and the U.S., I didn't know this until.
I got Jay Brazo in my film.
See, there you go. He's Jewish. So I have like a couple of Jew. I have like a rabbi joke in my movie when he's like out in the street and he's in drag and he bumps into his old rabbi. And my character, you claim to have seen my movie, but now I think you're lying.
No, I'm just trying to think of other Jewish. And
then I have like one joke where he makes a joke about Jewish people don't eat shrimp. That's it. And now we've played like 9 Jewish film festivals, and these festivals pay you lots of money to screen your movie. So we've been raking in the screening fees from these festivals, and they're coming. We didn't come after them. I wasn't like, let's target the Jewish film festival circuit. They came after us. We premiered at a huge one. I mean, our Jewish film festival premiere was a huge one in Atlanta, and from there, I was fielding like 3 emails a week. Hi, we're the Silicon Valley Jewish Film Festival. I'm not kidding. The Fargo Jewish, there was this is crazy. So that's for your next movie. Just think about that. Just throw.
Make sure there's some.
Just throw a little Jew in there.
I have a Hitler joke in my first movie.
I don't know if that counts. The
joke is it's about somebody trying to contact an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And oh god, now I'm gonna fuck it up.
You've already fucked it up by saying that. You fucked it up.
It's gone.
Okay, I should watch it then.
You should watch it then.
What film are we talking about?
The Untitled Work of Paul Shepard.
Right, I haven't seen it.
That's because we had a shitty distributor.
Really? What a shock! In Canada,
yeah. Well, we're walking. Well, in all fairness, I'm gonna back up. I think they tried as hard as they could.
We can cut that out, can't we?
No, fuck it. We don't do that. So I think they tried as hard as they could, but they just were inefficient. So we're taking it back now, and we're gonna release it ourselves on video.
Oh, good for you! They're giving it to you back.
They're in breach of enough things.
Okay,
we're working on that right now. Hopefully, by the time this is out, But they're in breach of enough stuff that they don't really have much to stand on if they decide to put up a fight.
That's a whole nother podcast about distribution. We don't want to get into that.
So we're going to put it out ourselves because
good for you.
I literally get like 1 or 2 emails a week or more of people going, "How do I see it? I'd love to see it."
That's great.
So it's like
it's a lot of work to self-distribute. shouldn't say we. Sean Garrity, my collaborator who directed My Awkward Sexual Adventure, we shot 2 movies in the same year. The other movie we shot was a psychological drama called Blood Pressure. Sean self-distributed it theatrically. Mongrel's releasing it on all their platforms, but Sean held on to theatrical release. He self-distributed the film. So he's played 21 cities across Canada with Blood Pressure since February or March or something like that. That's pretty amazing. He got 7 weeks in theaters in Toronto alone. Sold out run in Winnipeg. I mean, he's doing amazing self-distributing that thing. He's working his
ass off.
It's crazy how much work he's putting into publicity and media. But you can do it. I mean, you call the theaters yourself or you get a booker and you can do it. It's not that hard to get your movie on screens. So why can't the distributors do it? If my buddy Sean can do it from his living room and get it on 21 screens, why is it that everything else just opens for a week at Young and Dundas?
Well, and then you go to the VOD level and you look at it, it's like, so if I can do all this on Vimeo on demand myself and they only take 10%, what are you going to do for your extra 10 or 20% for marketing that's going to make a difference? And I can put it up myself and get it out to the world. All you need you for is to market it. So what are you going to do?
Very little.
That's just it. So
they're going to do very little.
Yeah, so unless they give you...
Yeah, and I also now I have to just preface, because I just said all of that, but I got to say that the distributors who handled My Awkward Sexual Adventure did a marvelous job with it.
You guys have done well.
And I'm very, very happy with them. So I'm not speaking about Phase 4 films and the work they did on that film specifically. I would like that noted. Is that noted?
Yep, noted.
Thank you.
Anyway. No, you guys have done one in the States too.
That's been crazy. Yeah, it's done very well in the States.
And they're doing like it in 18 other countries. They're reversioning it.
Just 3.
Still though.
As a writer, you got to know, you got to be, like very few people get how crazy and cool that is. Because that's the last thing in the world I was thinking about. I mean, I was thinking about all kinds of fun things, but never in a million years did I imagine that some other country, that even one other country would be like, yes, we want to do that in our country. This will be very funny.
We have awkward sexual adventures every
we
time.
have sex here too. Let's do this here. The maker's name is Klaus. I don't even know what country. I think it's Germany.
Do you get any say in these things?
Very little. I'm involved in the negotiations with these producers who are optioning the remake rights. But the thing that's so jazzing about it is that, like, as the writer came up with this idea and then worked so hard to make it to execute the idea, that other people in multiple other countries just look at my idea and go, I want that idea so badly that I'm not just going to steal it. I'm going to go and like pay them.
Yeah,
to do it.
That's the amazing thing.
Just
to me.
steal it. Just steal it. I'll never know. Like we sold there's a remake happening in Lithuania. I would never. I'm sure if the Lithuanian.
How the hell would
movie,
you find that?
Well,
once it gets on the Jewish Film Festival circuit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna be like, wait a minute. I'm
because that term jokes carries over.
Right. I'll get a call from like Josh Bloombaum in Atlanta, being like, Jonas, remember the movie, the sex movie? They don't talk. Jews do not talk like that unless they're from like the.
Just on my podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's been really cool. That's very flattering. I go, that's awesome. If any of those movies actually get produced, I will lose my shit.
We should get copies of them and have a marathon.
I would love to do that.
Rent like a theater and just have a marathon.
I mean, I'm going to do that. I'm going to show everybody I know. Look, here's the French. So it's French, Korea, and Lithuania. Yeah,
that'd be
nuts.
awesome.
So that would be very cool. Yeah, it's exceeded all of my wildest expectations. Yeah, it's been nuts. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll never be able to. This is the other thing, is that this is like the third movie that I've kind of written or co-written and involved with. And it's so vastly different from the other two in that we set out to make a marketable. I'm sure you did with Sex with Kids too. Set out to make a marketable.
Not Sex with
movie.
Kids. Don't call it that.
Sorry, man.
It's okay.
That's another movie.
It's a different movie.
Has anyone else ever done that?
It's another movie that does quite well.
Sex After Kids. Has anyone else ever made that mistake?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not the only pervert.
But it's thank you. Sex After Kids. What was I saying? Now I'm off the track.
Sorry.
That's okay. We set out to make a marketable movie. We were like, let's try. Let's see if we can do it. Let's make something that is totally populist, like audience friendly, marketable, up the yin yang. Put sex in the title. We'll really go for it, and we'll try to make it good too. But let's see if we can do that. Having we don't know how to do that we're not trained to do that in Canada. We make art films in Canada, or we make like personal films, and we hope that they resonate. This was like a very, very specific, calculated move. So now for the next one I'm doing like a sweet father-daughter, like dark kind of like road trip family story, because that's the next movie I want to make.
Yeah.
I will never have the same successes that I've had with this sexual
peaked.
I peaked before 40. Like there's no way I'll do that again. I am trying to make another one. I'm trying to do another like sex comedy. We'll see if it happens. But that's not really what I want to do. Ironically though, that's what everybody wants me to do now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I am like, at first was just turning down stuff for the first time. I'll be like, no, I don't. I'm like, and now it's like I can't turn stuff down. I'm like, if you're gonna pay me to write your sex comedy, I'll do it. So I've got like jobs lined up. It's crazy.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers to that. Well, we have. It's interesting because like there's so much with Sex After Kids. Like there's so much that's already been happening in such a great way, but the movie hasn't really.
No, it hasn't got out there yet. No, you've done one festival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're still waiting for your launch.
But there's, we can chat about it in different venue. Sure. But there's stuff that's like we've gotten some interest in as a TV series, and so.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's really great.
It's like because it's anyway. Blah blah blah. I don't want to.
But it's
this
just
is about
exciting,
you,
right? No, it's about us.
Yeah.
It's about our stuff. It's very exciting. We're kindred spirits. We both made sex movies.
Look at us.
Yours is about kids though, which is weird.
It's creepy now.
Yeah. So it's been a busy time and very exciting, and just trying to figure out, how to manage it all. So I've got projects, like I'm writing stuff. The other thing is I have never identified as a writer. Yes, I wrote that movie. You
just write stuff for yourself, right?
I just want to act. So I was like getting tired of people going, hey, he's a funny character actor, but he's not a lead. So I was like, I'll show them, I'll write leads from it. So I wrote like 3 movies that all got made where I'm the lead, which is great. But I write so that I can act. But
Yeah.
now, people think I'm a writer, and so my writing career
Little
is
do
kind
they
of
know.
flourishing. I know they know I'm a terrific actor. My writing career is flourishing, and I just want my acting career to really pick up steam. But there's some stuff happening on that end too. But it was kind of a catch-22 a little bit. I mean, I'm being offered writing jobs. People are saying, "Wow, can you write something else?" I was kind of just, for a while, I was no. I just want to act. I want to act. But now I've taken a few of them on, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm just a writer.
It's good to have multiple.
No, it
skill
is good
sets.
to have. Yeah, you need to have your coals in many fires.
Sure, let's go with that one. I mean, I think for me as
It's okay. I'm good. I'm
you
back.
ready to go now?
I'm back.
I mean, just for me, like as people, like I mean, for me, I like to work with smart actors, and so it's like actors
As
that
opposed
like,
to dumb actors?
Yeah.
That's wise. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. But like, so for me, like anytime like an actor has the ability to write or has the ability,
Right.
it just lets me know that it's like they're gonna approach any kind of notes they give me are not gonna be selfish actory notes.
Totally
it's gonna
know what you
be
mean.
story notes. It's gonna be about
Yeah, if they're thinking about it, yeah, I got that's great. Yeah, I totally know what you mean because there's a big difference between like I think I should have more to say here because I want to have that.
'Cause I wanna be in the scene
moment.
more,
Like
yeah.
what? No, that's not why you. So yeah, I know what you mean. It would be great to have.
Yeah, whereas a really smart actor would be like, you know what, I don't even know if I need to be in this scene.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know if I need to say anything here.
I don't know if that guy's so smart. No, I'm just.
No, but you know
kidding.
what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
they're
for
thinking
sure.
about the scene, they're thinking about the story more
Well, they're
than
a
they're thinking
team
about
player. They're
themselves.
thinking, they're a team player. They're thinking about the movie as a whole, right? Which is sort of your job, to manage actors who are usually just thinking about themselves. So if you can find actors that think like that, I think that's great. If they're, if they work for the project, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, actors are also smart actors can be your best. They can be like internal story editors. Like there's nobody's going to give you a better take on the character and what the character's thinking and what the character should do than your actor. Now, we actually developed a whole screenplay like that where the actors developed their own characters individually and then we came together and just tried. And it was great because anytime the director would say, I think he'd write this for the character to do, and the character could totally flag it and say, but I wouldn't do that, and here's why. Ah, yes, you are the character. You've worked with it for so long,
Right.
So you can use your actors as story editors too.
There's some of that in Sex After Kids, the way we approached that movie, because everything came together really, really quickly on that movie. Because I was writing it for specific actors and then getting their feedback and then revising. And so it was a big collaboration. Like, I wrote the script and did a draft, and then it was a lot of, well, what if we did this and tried that? So there's a lot of that as well, which is, I mean, for me, that's...
Was there improv on set? Did you guys improvise on set?
A little bit, but nothing crazy. It wasn't like we just have an outline for a scene. Let's just put it on his feet and try it. Like, everything was scripted.
Yeah.
It was more like we didn't really have a rehearsal process, but I had little sessions with each of the actors where we go through the scenes, either on the phone or Skype or in person if we could, and just be like, let's try this, or just throwing it at the wall and say, what if we just did this differently, or them throwing a personal experience at me.
Right.
And being able to use that.
Yeah, that's
which is
cool.
always way more interesting. Like there's a great, I'll just do a spoiler. There's a great scene with Jay Brazo where...
The Jew.
The Jew. Yeah. Where he's about to get intimate with his wife.
Yeah.
I'll go spoiler light because you haven't seen it.
Okay.
And originally it was just about one thing. It was very personal and somewhat erotic and sweet. And he was just like, I kind of want something bigger because a lot of the other characters have bigger moments here and there. What can we do that's a bit bigger, but doesn't lose like the sweetness and the personality? And then he threw a story at me from his personal life, and it was just like, holy shit! Like I couldn't ever imagine. I would never be able to come up with that on my own.
Well,
because
truth is stranger than fiction.
That's
right?
it. So it's like so we threw it in there, and it's a fantastic. You'll see.
moment.
You'll know it's scene when you see the movie.
Well, now I will. I'll be watching for it.
But
now I know
that
this.
came out of his personal life, and I never would have thought on my own. But it's also the kind of thing when someone's like, "Could that actually happen?" I'd be like, "Happened to Jay Brazo."
So he doesn't mind you telling people that it actually happened to him?
If you met Jay Brazo, you would know that man
he's
doesn't
fairly-
mind anything.
yeah, he's
he doesn't
really out
care.
there.
I think he would be really proud of it.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah. So there was a fair amount of that, where I'd throw down my ideas first, and then if someone had a better idea, we go with that. It was my general rule is best idea wins.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one going to give the writing credit, so unless
I love the rule: best idea wins or best joke wins. But I always find that but best idea.
There's
or
a danger.
Yeah. Well, it's subjective. Is it the word? Is it subjective or objective? I sometimes
it is
mix
subjective.
them up. Subjective in that. Oh, best joke that wins. But then they go, well, that's not the best joke. I think my joke's the best. Well, I think this joke's the best. Then you can fight about it. But you're saying you would just say.
I pick. I mean, I'm the director, so
you get to choose.
So in my opinion, whatever I think is the best joke wins.
Yeah.
But it's but I like to think I'm not super picky about my own, because I know that it's.
Yeah, you're not precious about your own stuff. Is what you're saying. You're
Yeah.
open to. That's the best kind of. I mean, that's what collaboration's all about.
Yeah, well, if you can make something better, it's make it better.
Please make it better.
Yeah, I mean,
always open to that. Yeah, of course.
We should do some questions.
Oh, you gonna do some questions?
Yeah. So you pick them out and hand them over.
I pick one out?
Yeah, some might not apply. You're hybrid, so most of them will apply.
Oh, because it's supposed to be for. Oh, okay.
Some of them, I sometimes have to modify them a bit, so it's more suspenseful this way.
Okay, I love it. This is so fun.
Oh, what's the worst kind of direction you can get as an actor?
That's a great question. Thank you. The worst kind of so technically, most actors would say the worst kind of direction you get is a line reading. Say it like this. I actually don't believe that. I think if an actor's not... There was one time I was working on a series called The 11th Hour. It was on CTV about news journalists. And Semi Challis, who now writes for Mad Men, was the head writer on the show. And she's a great writer. And she wrote me... I had this really fun character, and she wrote me this... There was a great scene that ended with a line that she thought was... She was so excited. She kept saying, I love that line that you say... And and inside I'm freaking out because I'm like, I don't know how to deliver this line because I don't totally get it, but I don't want to embarrass myself by
saying you don't get it.
I was young then.
Yeah.
I would now. I'd just be like, I don't get it. What does it mean? So on the day we were take one, take two, take three, and I just couldn't get the line read. I couldn't get the line right. I couldn't make it funny. I couldn't deliver what she thought was so great about the line. And so finally I asked the director, David Wellington, to just give me a line reading. And he wouldn't do it. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He was so respectful of the actors and that direction and that sort of, that faux pas that he wouldn't. I was like, please tell me. I don't know how to sell this. I don't know how to make it work. So that said, I never really answered your question.
No, that's okay.
That's okay? Because I told an anecdote about your question.
Yeah.
What's the worst kind of direction? Okay, so the worst kind of direction, and it usually happens for TV because you have to get the day and you have to the time. Is when you're told to do something that's totally unmotivated for camera. That's the hardest thing for, and it happens all the time. But it's the worst. We hate it. It's like I need you to get up on this line because I have this really cool thing planned with the lights and it's gonna on this line you have to get and as an actor you're reading and going, why would I get up on that? And you ask the director, why would I get up on that? Well, because I need you to for the lighting. No, man, you got to tell me why I'm getting up on this line. It doesn't make sense that I would move away from her on this line. This is the line where I come closer to her. That's the worst direction.
I staged opposite. I blocked the scene and then we light around that.
That's lovely. That's actor friendly. But on TV, have you directed TV?
No.
So
no one will hire me.
Well, not yet. Wait till your movie opens. It's the other beast. It's another beast.
It's different.
And I sympathize with those directors. And so often I'll just I won't make I'm not one of those actors going to make a big fuss about it and storm off to my trailer and refuse to do it. But I'll just do it. But it is the worst direction.
But you got to find a way to make it work.
You try and you rationalize and you justify it. But in the end, if you have to do it, you have to do it. So you just do your best, and you walk away that day going, "Well, that move didn't make sense to me, but whatever."
You feel bad about it.
No one's really gonna give a shit.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we had there's a scene in Sex After Kids where it was this big long conversation between two characters, and I had planned this big they're gonna talk for this long, and then they'll get up and they'll go over there,
right.
And then they'll just to make visual. I'm going. I can't just have them sit on this couch for 3 pages of dialogue. I need to move it up, otherwise you're just going to get But they were just like, they said, why would we move? Like, it just is not going to make sense. So we just ran it. We just changed it a little bit and did this really slow push in for the whole scene. And I'm so.
That's
first of all, it saved us like 2 hours in the day.
Huh?
So there's that.
Less move.
Yeah, less move
means less.
But it's also like, I watched that scene now. I'm like, why would I have done it?
Well,
that way?
so that's good though. That's a good lesson. That's a good,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the worst direction. Sure.
That was just and that, what it is for me? It's my insecurity as a director, just going, I need to try to make it as visual as possible. Because I love the movies, I love Woody Allen and all that kind of stuff. I'm big on, like, if I can do a scene in a oneer, like, I'll do it.
Will you do the thing with like Woody Allen does, where like a character will get up and walk out and go into the kitchen, which is totally out of frame, and then
come back,
and still talking, delivering dialogue, and then he'll walk through. Then you'll see him pass through more dialogue, and then come back, and he does that shit all the time. That character is off camera for like a lot of their dialogue. I love that.
I'll do that. I've done that in some stuff.
I think it's ballsy.
Yeah, my first film, Paul Shepard, is like fake documentary.
Yeah.
So we had no choice but to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was great. It was like my way of making a Woody Allen film.
Yeah.
Without because people had to walk.
Yeah, you had the excuse
because there's only one camera. The camera was a character in and of itself in the movie.
Yeah.
So they could only witness things from their point of view. So that happened in that one for sure. Sex After Kids, there's kind of that. I mean, most of the scenes between two people, there's people walking off. But I'm not against that either. It's just, I mean, it's simpler to shoot that way for sure.
Yeah.
But it also feels more realistic. It depends on the
kind
of movie.
It does, but you get a lot of, you get a producer going, well, you have to cover that. Why aren't you covering that? Or your DOP being like, well, we got to go in the kitchen. You got to pick up that piece where there. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. But you can't not do that. That dialogue, I think, would open up, and then you'd have to deal with that shit.
I have that in my head because there's a scene in my first film where there's a character playing pool and they're talking. And it was the same thing. It was like, well, we have to make sure. She was so concerned about the continuity of how she was playing pool.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, look, it's a fake documentary. It's like, just play pool. It's like, if I was, because I work in reality television. I know how, and I edit this stuff. I was like, if I was getting this footage, I'd probably just be jump cutting the shit out of it anyway.
Yeah.
And just getting to the heart of the conversation.
Yeah.
So why can't we shoot it that way?
Yeah.
Just play pool. Don't worry about where the ball was and where this was. I'm going to shoot it up this way anyway. We're not going to see the balls really.
I love that, and I wish I didn't have a head for continuity. I'm like a little bit OCD. I'm not like diagnosed or never, but I think
you haven't been tested.
No, but I think I have tendencies. So one of the ways that shows up is I'm really big on continuity. I'm always very careful. I wish I wasn't though, because I don't think it's as important as
Depends on if you're doing a wonder, it doesn't matter at all.
Of course.
If you're doing like a big scene where there's like 15 setups, then it can.
Like what line did I take the sip on? And I could screw it. I get it. That's why I'm really good with continuity.
I was trying to make sure if I'm shooting a scene where I know there needs to be coverage.
Yeah.
I always try to make sure I have what I would call a dog to cut to.
Yeah.
Because the idea is like you have something that you can cut to reset the continuity.
Yeah. So after you've done the scene, you're like, okay, now we're just gonna do a quick pickup on like the clock ticking or
whatever it is, or something that's
the window, the sky.
Usually not as bad as that, but it's like even if it's just like a really big long shot.
Yeah.
So that way, or something just to make it, or if you have a third person in the room that doesn't talk as much.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's a dog. Is you cut to the thing that's reacting.
Yeah.
Except for kids, it's a lot of babies.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can get away with that, and that way you don't have to worry about the continuity as much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can get away with it. I like wonders though. I like letting actors act. That's what I enjoy.
You're lovely. I'll work on any movie you ever. If you'll have me, if I'm lucky enough.
We'll see how this turns out.
Okay. Do I get another question?
Yeah.
I really enjoy the question. This is fun. It's like I'm like a kid. This is a game. Oh, I get to pick it. Does everyone else get giddy about the questions? Or?
Tara Spencer-Nan was freaked out. She's very worried.
Oh God! Does anyone else get as excited?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Is there a famous role of the opposite sex you'd like to play?
Oh, because when you said is there a famous role, I started thinking of them, but of the opposite sex. Wow, I never thought about that. I've never thought about that.
Look at me. Exercising your brain, making the gerbils run faster.
Fantastic. Now I'm sort of just quickly going through mentally, because nothing's jumping out. So I'm trying to go to like my favorite movies and think of it. I'm always identifying with the male actors in those movies. Oh God, I wish I had a
Princess Leia.
Fun, clever. That scanned through, but obviously, Han Solo would be the one
You'd pick Han Solo over Luke.
Oh, he's way more interesting, of course. I mean, I'm probably more of a Luke type.
So funny. We got like a giant bin of Lego from one of my cousins that we've got for my kids. And
Old
we're sorting
school
through
Lego?
it. Old school Lego, but there's also like a bunch of like little action figures mixed in with it.
Star Wars guys?
There's a Luke Skywalker, but he's ripped. I'm like, that's a new Luke.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's not Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
A famous role of the opposite sex. Oh man, I am really losing it here. I've not got anything great for you, I'm afraid. I'm just wasting time.
Go back to even like I think okay. So say you're back in like English theater and you had to play a female. You're only male actors anyway.
Yeah, but the male actors were the ones that.
What Shakespearean role would you want to play?
What Ophelia, I guess. But then I wouldn't be able to be Hamlet. So
look at you. You just.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You should just say Tootsie. You should just say Tootsie.
I thought about Tootsie too. The answer to your question is no.
You wouldn't do it.
Your question is your question was phrased.
Fair
is
enough.
there a famous role in the opposite sex that you would like to play? My answer is no, there's not.
I will only play something with a penis.
That's right. I only want to play boys. Next question.
That's an answer. I'll take that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's no wrong answer.
I wish I had a better answer.
That's a good answer. You put some effort into it.
Well,
if you had to have another filmmaker remake one of your films, who would you choose and why?
Oh, I love that. I would, if I had to have. Okay, so I wouldn't choose My Awkward Sexual Adventure because I think we kind of did it. We did as best we could on that one. I would choose one of the other. I would choose the first film that Sean and Gary and I did together called Inertia. We did it in 2001. Premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Can we see that anywhere?
And promptly won the award for Best First Canadian Film.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, you can see it. I mean, I would have said it was at Blockbusters and Rogers. You can find it at Queen Video now or Suspect Video, wherever those.
But can you get it online?
Yeah, it's on. I'm sure it's on Netflix and iTunes and all that. I think it is. Probably is. Anyway, that was like a relationship. That I would like John Cassavetes to have a stab at that one. It was a kind of a Cassavetes type movie, or even Woody Allen because the main character I played was very neurotic.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot of like interweaving stories. Woody Allen. I'm gonna change it. Woody Allen. I would like to see Woody Allen remake Inertia. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be so cool.
With different cast or everything?
Oh no, I would live.
I
would very much like the opportunity to play my character again if Mr. Allen would have. But if he cast it, it'd be great. It'd be like he'd put like Alec Baldwin and like he'd put like John Cusack. He'd put great people in it, so he could cast it.
Yeah, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But you have to hang out on the set.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I would love to hang out on a set. Yeah, that'd be great.
I can't imagine him ever wanting to direct something he didn't write.
Oh, no. I remember one time, a few times he's acted in stuff that he didn't write.
Yeah.
Rarely though. Yeah, I don't think he would ever want.
Scenes from a Mall?
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, it was so disappointing. I was so excited when I saw it to go see that. It was terrible.
I just always remember that one in like the small town where I grew up that was always on the shelf and I always picked it up and looked at it.
You never watched it?
I'm sure I did.
It wasn't very good.
No, I didn't really get into Woody until I was like probably 18. I didn't really discover him.
Yeah.
Because I had no influences that would have brought me to him.
Did you discover like early Woody Allen or did you discover like mid-80s kind of when he started getting serious, like Hannah and Her Sisters, Crimes and Misdemeanors?
The first Woody Allen movie I saw was Mighty Aphrodite.
So yeah, that's, to me, am I that much older than you? No way.
I'm
40.
I'm early 30s.
Okay. So
don't let the balding fool you.
Mighty Aphrodite is like late term Woody Allen.
Yeah.
There's early, like, have you gone back and watched like
Bananas? I have them all.
Against,
I have in my wealth of DVD collection, I have every single Woody
Mighty
Allen
Aphrodite
movie.
was the first one you saw.
Yeah, well, and you know what? And the reason why I saw it was because Mira Sorvino was in it, and she was dating Tarantino at the time. And I was a teenager, and it was like all that kind of stuff was coming out.
Totally.
And so that was like I wanted to watch it because of her.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is in my mind was way cooler than what Tarantino was doing.
Oh, really?
I connected to that way more.
So that was about the same year as like Pulp Fiction around, wasn't it? And you saw Pulp Fiction, you were like,
I love Pulp Fiction.
And then you saw Mighty Aphrodite, and you're like, now that's the shit.
Well, for me, I was like, that's the kind of stuff I'm more interested in.
That's great. That's cool. That's amazing.
And then I went back, and then retroactively went back and discovered. And then I remember the day I discovered Annie Hall was just like
that was it.
I couldn't do anything for 3 days. I'm like, well, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
And what am I gonna do now?
Yeah, and then everything I wrote after that, it was a pale comparison. I'm writing subtitles into all that stuff.
You're just stealing everything from I remember that. That's that going through that where like everything you wrote was basically just a copy of your favorite stuff. Like Pulp Fiction was so mind blowing. I tried to write a script, I think, that year.
I did. Yeah.
That year. And I basically was like, but everybody wrote a Pulp Fiction after Pulp Fiction.
And I think you have to do that. It's like if you especially when you're younger and you're like just kind of like trying to figure out what your voice is and your influences.
Like, that's my voice.
Well,
that's it.
My voice is that guy's voice.
That guy's voice is my voice.
So it's like you just got to get that shit out of your system, write your terrible writing, and then eventually I think whatever your voice is will just kind of surface on its own, and it'll find its own kind of way.
If you were doing your top 1,000 movies of all time, what would rank higher, Mighty Aphrodite or Pulp Fiction at this point in your life?
Oh, fuck.
Is that an impossible question? Is that an impossible
Mighty
question?
Aphrodite is a funny movie.
Wow, so you were like, Mighty Aphrodite would beat Pulp Fiction on your
list? I don't know.
That's just crazy.
I would say that in terms of, if you're looking at like are we talking about like cinema history?
I don't know. I was just asking.
Because I think it's like, Pulp Fiction was one of those like groundbreaking movies that really kind of changed
everything.
For a lot of them. Where Mighty Aphrodite was just a really fun,
great movie. It's like one
movie.
of his better ones.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So it's like, which one would I go back? Here's the thing. I would probably go back and revisit Mighty Aphrodite more often because it's shorter and I have 2 kids.
That's great. So Pulp Fiction takes 2.5 hours to watch.
Yeah. So it's just easier to do that. But it's like, I'm not one of those people that think Tarantino is one of the most amazing filmmakers ever.
Right.
I think he's a really great genre filmmaker.
Yeah.
And what he does is really, really entertaining and interesting. But it's like he's not making any major social commentary.
No.
Or that.
But neither is Woody Allen. I mean, he is in some of his films. Sure, he's delving when he delves into like the Shakespearean issues and guilt and like love and infidelity. But like Mighty Aphrodite was, I think, pretty light.
Yes, absolutely.
Thematically.
Absolutely. But I think on the whole, I think in terms of like the emotionality and the idea of relating to human relationships. I think in terms of when you look at the scope of their filmography, I think Woody Allen has
probably
a little more depth than Tarantino does.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Both entertaining.
Oh, yes.
Tarantino's got a bigger audience, that's for sure.
I look forward to his movies more than Woody Allen's these days, let me tell you that. Like a Tarantino movie is an event for me. I'm there opening night. I'm very excited. Even the like Django Unchained, I would rank like the kind of probably at the bottom of his canon of movies if I had to rank them, and I still would say that it was like one of the best movies of the year.
I think Django is my favorite.
Really?
Of his.
Don't get me wrong. I loved Django Unchained, but when I thought about it after, I'm like, well, I've only seen it once. I've only seen it once.
I remember after watching it the first time, I was like, that might be my favorite Tarantino film.
See, it's fun to talk about that stuff.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's also the difference, too, wherein, like, Woody just pumps out a movie every year and treats it like a day job.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like, I'd love to have that.
I think that's awesome, too.
Where Tarantino, like, takes a little more time.
Yeah.
And, and of his, what has he made, like 8 films now? 7?
So I have to, I could count
he
them.
only has one that I would call terrible.
Which one?
The car one. With the grindhouse.
Oh, Death Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Death Proof too.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I would rank it just below. It was the one that I put just below Django. It's his worst movie, but I still will, if I'm flipping channels and it's on, I'll get pulled right in. Just to hear that language, just to hear those people talking, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's still better than a lot of people's best movies.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
But for him, it's just like, it's a movie I probably will revisit the least.
And even Woody Allen now, even the shitty Woody Allen movies, I'd rather watch a shitty Woody Allen movie than than another shitty. What am I trying to say?
You're trying to say
Woody Allen movies is like, it's like pizza. Even when it's
bad, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
I use that analogy all the time.
Do you? Yeah.
Or sex. It's like even when it's bad, you're still having sex.
Yeah, you're having sex.
Unless
you're watching Woody Allen. Unless what?
Teeth grating. Where did I go? Why did I go there?
That's very specific. Yeah. That's very specific.
Going back to second year of college there for a second.
I don't even want to know.
Oh, I mean, this is kind of a play off of it. Here, I'll ask this because you didn't answer the gender one.
Oh, good, okay.
So what role that you haven't played would you really like to? Or a kind of role?
Oh, that's
it could either be like a role you'd like to do that's been done before.
Yeah.
Or it could be a type of role you haven't had a chance to play yet.
Great question. Well, there's a few answers. First of all, I'm probably not supposed to talk about this, but I'm screen testing for something on Friday, like a lead in something huge. That is like would be a dream role, but I won't talk about it because I'll jinx it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say
the type of role it is. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
specific.
Well, like I said, I have a fairly long, I have an impressive resume, but I'm a supporting actor or a character actor. I haven't played a lot of leading men. I'm an unconventional leading man, so I only have like three or four leads, and they were all things that I kind of wrote for myself. I really wanted someone, and so this year's been a big year because I have had two other filmmakers offer me leads in their films. So I just want to play. I'd love to play leads, and I don't want to always play leads. And it's not because I want to be the center of attention. Leads are all usually
you get an arc.
You get the best arc. You get the most to do. You get to There's just more depth to it. There's more range. So I would like to play a role like Say Anything, like John Cusack's character in Say Anything, who of course is much younger than me, but that like kind of at that kind of like lovable but sarcastic, a little bit of a dark edge, but like kind of a romantic lead, but not a goofball.
Yeah.
Which is what I write for myself because that's where I go easiest. So I'd like to do that, like something like that.
Someone who's a bit of a dick.
And I don't play bad guys very often. Very, very rarely. Even when I play bad
guy.
Thank you. Even when I try to play bad guys, they end up coming off as I guess I'm so inherently likable, right?
You could do like I'm gonna throw maybe a weird reference.
Okay, go for it.
Girl Next Door, that movie.
Yeah, the Girl Next Door.
movie?
Yeah, with Timothy Olyphant.
You could do a Timothy. I could see you pulling that off because that role in that movie.
He's like he pulls that off because of how good looking he is. That's the thing. I can't get away with that shit. Like the Brad.
You are not an unhandsome.
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm no Timothy Olyphant. I mean, those guys, there's a different kind of charisma that comes from being that good looking. That I think he gets away with that stuff. He's great in that movie.
Yeah, he's fantastic in that movie.
Fantastic in that movie. Yeah, but thank you. I would love to.
I'm just saying. I think you can do the switch. I think I could see you in a part where it's like
smarm and charm.
You come in, it's like, hey guys, everything's great, and then all of a sudden it's like as soon as you could just do that turn and it would work really, really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be fun to do something like that, or to play like a Sam Rockwell, like a Edward Norton, like a psychopathy type guy.
Yeah.
Who like you think he's like everything's fine, all of a sudden he just turns on you. That'd be fun. Yeah, I could do that. Can you write me something like that?
Done. Let's work on that.
Good. Let's
Maybe
get that.
we say that now.
Let's get that going. No, we'll do it. I'll be available. Sure.
we'll make it happen. We'll get our people to talk to each other.
You can just talk to me directly.
Okay, that's fine. I do have your email address.
Yeah,
it is right here. No,
it's on my website.
There you go.
I tell everybody I don't have a problem with it.
I put a lot of effort into finding your email address, and I could have just put on your website.
You put a lot of effort into finding my email address?
I don't think I did.
You just talk to your producers. Those producer guys have been emailing me about that other movie.
Yeah, it happened. We can't talk about.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
No.
Sorry.
Next soon, I want to. At one point.
I see. You want to be
I don't like
strategic.
jinx.
Yeah.
Strategic. Jinxie.
I understand. I didn't say anything specific. It was very vague what I just said.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I love this. This is so fun.
The last one.
This is the last one?
But then we can do a bonus question if we got time.
No, it's all right.
What's the worst 5 traits that most actors have?
Oh my god.
You don't have to do 5.
No. Okay, what is the worst 5? What is the worst trait? Okay, so I'm guilty of this too. Actors, they find like tricks that work for them early in their career, and then they keep relying on those. And when I say tricks, I don't mean they're not manipulations.
Like
no, not even
that.
Gimmicks, not gimmicks, not tricks. I mean,
I know little
quirks or things. I'll give you an example that I think people are that is resonating with people right now in pop culture. So Claire Danes, wonderful actress, does a thing. She's been doing it since My So-Called Life, where her chin, when she's gonna cry,
quiver. Yeah.
There's a quiver, and it's very effective. When you watch My So-Called Life and she does that, you cry with her.
Yeah. Do you think that's a gut reaction? Like she can't control that, or do you think that's very calculated?
I don't think it's calculated. I think it's intuitive. I think she's like, this is what this emotion is for me. This is what happens to me when I. But then you can rely. So I guarantee you, when Claire Danes is in a moment where they're like, Claire, honey, we need you to cry on this last take and it's not coming. What's she gonna do? She's gonna go for the chin quiver. She's gonna pull out a chin quiver, because that's what she's got. It's in her bag of tricks, and it works.
I've heard the reference is the ugly Claire Danes cry.
Oh, really? I thought maybe I was the only one that...
No, I've heard it before.
My wife and I talk about it all the time.
So does my wife's a huge...
here goes
my so-called life.
Here goes the chin. Here goes the chin. There goes the chin. So actors, and I'm guilty of it too. We have
What's
these
yours?
things. Well, I have a lot. I do a lot of hand gestures when I'm maybe not grounded or confident with what I'm doing. The hands come up. So I get told to put them down by good directors that notice that. I'd love that. Please tell me if I'm doing that ever. If you're directing me and I'm getting hand gestures, just
put your fucking hands in your pocket, Jonas.
My wife points out, because my wife knows me better than anyone, so she points out my tricks. So I do one when I'm being... It's so embarrassing nowadays because now everyone's gonna watch. If anyone watches my shit, they're gonna notice it. But if I'm like being intense or serious, there's a jaw clenchy thing, and I'll talk really tightly, like my jaw will tighten up. That's a trick I do. It works. People tell me, "Oh, that was very intense in that scene." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because I
did the jaw move.
I did the jaw thing. I did the jaw thing." And then I relied too heavily on this sort of fumbling Ben Stillery kind of vernacular, I'm just like I'll fight, kind of trail, something like that. Like I'll trail off or kind of talking to my breath or lose confidence. If I do it for humor, losing confidence as I'm talking, it's a trick I pull out because I find it lands well or it's funny. So I have a bunch of them. Yeah, so that's a bad trait. The tricks that the actors do. Actors also, I've seen this now up close. If you're on a TV series, if actors are lucky enough to get on a series, which is that's the golden, that's where the security and the money is. Yeah. That's what actors want to get on a series. It's amazing. I've only had that experience a couple times, but the first year you get on a series, everybody on the show. This is very Canadian though. I don't know how it works in the States because I haven't been on an American show as a lead. But in Canada, you get on a show. We're on a show. Our pilot got picked up. We're on a show. We won't have to worry about paying the mortgage this year. Hooray! Oh, thank you so much, showrunners and producers and network for casting us. We are so grateful. I will read every word as written. I will do whatever you ask me. I will never complain about anything. I will be the most pleasant person to work with. That's season 1. Season 2, now the show's a hit. Everyone's back. And you watch the actors, not all of them, but I've seen it happen occasionally, lose that sense of that humility, that team spirit, and it's replaced by a sense of entitlement and an arrogance, and they're suddenly late to work on a regular basis and not even really apologizing about it, or they're not prepping, we're not preparing. Or they're just not treating people it just happens. You fall, and usually with young actors that are, and that's a terrible trait.
Don't know enough that.
Yeah, it's a terrible
trait.
They are. They just they forget how lucky they are, and they fall into this sort of sense of this sort of ease with it all that's very off-putting. And I've seen actors fired for that. And if I was a showrunner, I would fire an actor if they got. You don't want to work with. Nobody wants to work with assholes.
No, life's too short to work with.
And I think actors, because we're so ego-driven, and we're so that's part of our job. We're so sort of self-obsessed and self-driven and ambitious, and that it's very easy to lose sight of. I think how fortunate we are to have the jobs that we have. So that's a terrible trait that actors have, being dicks. That's the trait, being dicks.
So quirks, dicks.
Quirks and dicks. I think we have a new podcast title. I had to come up with 5 traits.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Those
are
are
good.
Good. You went into detail.
I did, right? Too much detail? You just wanted
good. I like it.
You just wanted quick answers.
No, that was good. That's why it's I said it doesn't have to be fun.
Yeah, you open it. Okay, good. Yeah. What do you think? Do you notice any
shit. I know I've called actors on some quirks before.
On quirks. You do this thing.
Or it's you do this thing where you do this. I'm like, you don't need to do that.
Right. Yeah, you're interesting enough without doing
we don't need to go to that. It's and that's something that you do on this, and we don't need that.
Yeah.
You pull something outside of the bag, or we'll just change it up, or make it more interesting in a different way.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so we
actually.
Don't need to
I like that.
Just make a different choice.
Make a different choice.
I
like you speak. You speak the actor language. You read a book. You read that book
I read a book
by that chick. Do you know what I'm talking?
chick?
Judith,
No.
what's her name? There's this woman in LA who does workshops with directors. It's about like how to talk to actors. Every director I know that's taken it. So Judith Weston, I think her name is, says it's life-changing, it's amazing. You don't need to do it. You already know how to work with actors.
Look at me.
You're good.
I hang out with actors.
Yeah.
I'm friends with actors.
You're
I
good
just
with
know. I just know the word. It's like that kind of. It's just. It's because it's all about making choices.
Yeah.
And so just make a different one.
Yeah.
And then instead of saying have more energy, have more.
Yeah.
That's not what it,
Find
that's,
another way to.
Yeah, it's still vague, but it's
Yeah.
just me letting you know. It's like whatever you're doing, it's
Yeah.
not working for the scene. So
Right.
make a different
So
choice.
let's do a different choice. Yeah.
And it's not your fault. It's just whatever it is. It's just like it's no different if I write a scene wrong the first time.
Right.
It's like I made the wrong choice.
Got to try something new.
Try
That's
something
actually
different.
great too. I'll add that to my list then of traits. Is that actors who are trying to do too much, and I don't mean like necessarily overacting, which is
Nope.
also a problem, but just trying to do too much.
Keep it
where it's like,
simpler.
yeah, like we're right in there, like we're in your face. We like it's all
Yeah.
in your eyes.
Or the line itself is funny. You don't have to treat it like it's a punchline.
Right. Which you
Just-
see
just
all the time,
Throw it away.
especially in Canadian comedy. You see that with actors that aren't maybe that confident or experienced doing comedy. Like, I gotta make this line funny. What am I gonna do on it?
Do
Like,
nothing.
Oh, do nothing. Yeah, just let that go.
Yeah.
Let that line
it's
go.
It's way funnier if you just.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just
say
do
the
nothing.
word.
Well, I've had that. I mean, I've had that before where I've had actors. And I mean, the one thing that I guess one of the quirks that I'm not big on with some actors is just when they don't. There's a difference between coming to the writer or the director and being like, I don't understand why I'm doing this,
Right.
and then just coming right out and saying, I don't think I would do this as a character.
Right.
And it's like, well, I put a lot of thought into your character.
Right, and I'll tell you why your character.
And this is why.
Yeah.
So it's like when they come and say, I shouldn't do this, and this is
I would
why.
never do this.
Yeah, I would never do this. I'm like, well, then you're approaching your character from the wrong direction,
Right.
because your character would do that.
Yeah.
And it sounds feels like a dick saying that to somebody. But
Yeah,
at the same
for
time,
sure.
it's like, and the worst is when, and this hasn't happened to me a lot, but it's like when actors kind of play the card knowing where they wait until the last possible moment to give you a note like that,
Yeah.
where they know that you can't recast them,
Yeah.
and you're kind of locked into going, and that.
Do you mean the last possible, like on set
Yeah.
after you've done a take or two?
Or like you're just about to shoot, and it's like, well, I don't really want to do it this way. We should do it, and it's like, and you're like, you got the day, you got to make your day. All this, and it's like, why the fuck are you bringing this up now?
Yeah, you
You've
put
had
me in a
weeks.
corner here.
Yeah, and then in front of people sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like that's not. It's just that's the kind of thing. But you're also in a position where it's like, I can't really replace you.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on a low budget film.
Oh yeah.
But it's also, it's like in my mind, it's just like we're probably never gonna work together again.
And they blew it. They blew their chances of working with you again.
But you know what I mean? It's because it's
Oh,
again,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like life is too short to work with.
Assholes.
And also, it's like for me personally, I'm a collaborative dude. It's like bring something up early enough, we'll work it.
For sure.
Like bring it up at the last minute, I'm not gonna risk my last minute instincts
Yeah.
on changing it.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
yeah, we can be more specific off camera.
Okay. I'd love to know what you're talking about because I won't work with that asshole either.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how we do for time. Okay, come on. You want to do one more?
Oh, I'd love to do another question.
Bonus question.
Oh, yeah. So these are like specifically for actors.
Not always.
But you have other people on the show.
Yeah, I can modify.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right, like if I asked the
Like
director-
you had like Matt Austin here today, and he
Yeah,
was.
he's acted.
But he was a Power Ranger. He was a Power Ranger.
I think you can answer this. What
Wow.
is the main difference between like a Canadian film set and an American one?
Oh yeah, I can answer that. Well, that's an interesting question as an actor working only in Canada because I've worked on American film sets in Canada,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Money is
Yeah.
the main difference. I did an episode of Covert Affairs. Do you know this show on the USA Network? It's a spy show. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Like when working on we're episodic show here, you're lucky if it's like, if you get 1.3 million an episode, that's incredible in Canada. This show, Covert Affairs, I think I heard it's like $4 to $5 million per episode. And when I went to the set of Covert Affairs and I was walking and they were like, here's want to see the standing sets? And I was like, sure. And they opened up it was up in the Allen Road and Air Force Base.
Yeah.
I mean, they built like the outside of a mansion, with like a driveway and a car and trees. I'm like, why don't you just go and shoot somebody's mansion?
Yeah.
Like, you just go to Forest Hill and shoot somebody. Why do you have to build that here? This is ridiculous. Everything from that to like the catering is better.
Yeah.
And for that episode, I actually got to go and shoot in Morocco. My God, they flew me to Morocco to shoot a few days of my episode. That's nutty. Like, we don't do that on Canadian shows. No, you want to shoot Morocco? You go to the quarry. That's what they do, right? Yeah. You go to the quarry, you put towels on your head. Is that racist? Is that culturally insensitive? Okay, yeah, it was. You're like, yeah.
That's going to be my comment.
Because Moroccans don't wear towels on their... No, because they're hot.
I get it.
Forget it. It wasn't a religious thing.
You're just digging the hole now.
Yeah. What I mean is people who wear towels on their heads are usually of brown skin. No. What I'm trying to... So that is to me the main difference between the other thing is that you were talking about how you can't fire somebody.
Yeah.
They will fire.
Well, yeah, because they can afford
They will fire your ass at the table read. You know about this?
Yeah.
Table read fire?
No.
You get so you do like your audition, your second audition, your callback, your screen test, your cast, you're hired. You got the job. You're in a new American series. You sit down. You're called in to do a table read of episode 1 with all the actors and all the writers and all the network executives and all the producers in a room. And you're just sitting at the table reading it. In Canada, this is the most fun event when you get to finally meet everyone and it's so warm and you're all kissing and hugging and you just read. The American one, it's like another hidden audition. And they will fire your ass if you're not brilliant and perfect. If you do that table read and somebody on the higher ups is like, I don't know, my confidence is wavering about that guy. He didn't quite deliver the funny like he did in the audition. Fired.
Wow.
Yeah, it's happened to friends of mine. You read about it in the trades, and they're like, so and so has been replaced on this pilot, was fired after the table read. They actually will put it in the So we don't do that in Canada. That's what we do in America. What?
We don't have the.
No, we don't have the money. They could delay production or reshoot scenes. On the episode I did on Corporate Affairs, they were reshooting scenes from the last episode because they fired the actor.
You just throw money at their problems.
Oh, it's nuts. It's
crazy. You don't have money to throw.
So that's the answer is money to that question. I like that question. That was the funnest thing ever. It was like being on a game show.
Yeah?
Yeah, a game show about for actors who like to talk about stuff, who like to talk about themselves. It's like it's my dream come true.
Okay. So we have this. So to end it.
Oh, okay.
You have 2 choices.
Okay.
You can either display some kind of talent or skill you have, or you have to arm wrestle me.
Oh my God.
I'm not good.
Oh no, I wouldn't be good either. I'm a very weak man.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the gym in a year. I might have to choose arm wrestling only because I don't have any.
You can't pull something out of your ass.
Oh, I can't pull something out of my ass. Something like that.
That's your skill?
Yeah. Poo. How's poo? Does poop work?
That's amazing.
No, we'll play. What I'll do for my talent is that you will throw out country or language.
Okay.
And I will show you the trick to pretending you can speak any language.
Okay. So Swahili.
No, can you pick one that No, Swahili. No, pick out one that's a little more. Choose another one. Well, put Swahili.
Can you give me a list of the ones you can actually do, and then I'll
choose a European one first. Start with Europe.
Poland.
That's fine.
You're 2 for 2.
I know. I structured this very badly.
Ireland.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna start with German.
Your skill is terrible.
Ein Nuchton ist ein Ispensauerkraut. Achtung. The thing is, you fake it and then you throw in a real German word at the end. So I said sauerkraut, right? And then I'll give you another example.
But not in Polish or Irish.
Arigato. Avocado maki.
You said avocado.
Avocado maki, I said. Japanese. Arigato. Teriyaki.
And that's the trick to faking.
You see what I'm saying? Look at you. You put the real Japanese word in at the end, and then it sells the... This is not going well.
Do Canadian.
Come on. You're blowing it for me. See, I couldn't do Swahili because I don't know a real Swahili word. Italian.
That was the Canadian Italian because you did the at the end.
Yeah. See? Anyway, I'm glad I did that instead of arm wrestling you.
You did too.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was literally the most fun I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
I know.
I feel bad for your wife.
Yeah, it's not good.
Bye.